Ai, tēnei wā, ka ritaraka ki a koe api whakatuwhera tātou huihuinga i te committee o te Māori Advisory Committee ki te kaunihera o te mātawa Māori. Ka huri ki a koe api.
Mauri ora tātou. Nā reira e tua ke nei I raro te maru tō tātou matu terangi mihi kawana e mihi mai o hā ki a koutou katoa ku hui mai nei I tēnei rangi. Nā reira te whānau hoki anau o tēnei rōpū o tēnei ki hoki ara ki te kaunihera arohe o te matawa Māui a kanu te mihi kia koutou. Tēnā korua, tēnā koutou, ngā hoa, ngā wahine tō. Ngā wahine tō hene wai, o nā ti pārau, kanu te mihi kia koe. Me hoki koe wairama. O ta hapu hoki an o Ngāti Harakai Pāka, ka nuti mihi ki o korua. Mo tō kaha, mo tō mahi. I tēnei wā taumaha. Mare, tō tautoko ai ki tō tātou nei, committee nei, e pāne ki te committee mai. Mare, rea tēnā koutou. Huri no, kaimahi nei, o tēnei rōpū, kanuti mihi, kanuti aroha ki a koutou katoa. Ka rero taku kōrero tēnei wā, ka inoi tātou. Nōre korori ki te atua maungarongo ki te whenua whakaro pai ki ngā tāngata katoa. Nā reira, hange te atua nāka hau ki roto ki tēnā o mātou, whakatōngi atu wairua tapu hei a whina, hei tohu I a mātou mai katoa, ko I kurati hoki tō mātou āriki. Amen.
Amen.
E hemene.
You do come with that?
Yeah, way Kia ora. Mātakitaki mai, no te wairo, kia ora koutou.
Tēnā te mihi ki a koe api whakatuwhera tātou me ngā mihi kia I timata tātou hui. Tēnā koe. Welcome everybody to the official meeting of the Māori Standing Committee. We have one agenda item on today, and it's in regards to the question around Māori warts. I'd also like to recognise the presence of our RPC, our Regional Planning Committee, the tangata whenua members of that committee who have joined us today to be part of this discussion in regards to the question that has been put to this committee. I would also like to recognise those that will view this online hui. Just for your information, as part of our tikanga of our committee, our first hour, we have a a post-hui meeting prior to this meeting. It's an informal 1 hour discussion that deals with our agenda items. So if you like, a lot of in-depth conversation amongst ourselves has taken place. And so don't judge us on the volume of what you hear from us in this particular part of our meeting, because a lot of that conversation's already have taken place. Ours may be more of a summary of where we landed. Before we go further into the conversation, can I turn to Tuarama as to our presence here today, please? And the question that's been asked of us. Oh, apologies, sorry. So we have one apologies.
From Baden Barber, so Ngāti Kahungunu have offered their apologies for today's meetings.
Do we have any other apologies?
From Diane Smith and Councillor Sophie Sew.
So Diane Smith and Councillor Sophie Spears. Kapai. If there are no other apologies, can I call for a move and a seconder, please? Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Māori. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Carried.
Aye.
No, not you. So can I turn to you, please, to wait up as to why we are here today?
Tēnā koe, Chair. Tēnā koutou te komiti, Māori me te komiti regional planning. The paper that is before you today is a staff suggestion that the Māori Committee makes a formal recommendation to the Regional Council to resolve to retain its Māori constituencies. On the 29th of May, 2024, Hawke's Bay Regional Council submitted an opposition of the proposed changes outlined in the Local Government Act amendment. On the 30th of July, following over 10,000 public submissions, the Act was passed as law. The Act has directed Council to make an active decision as to whether it retains or disestablishes its Māori constituencies by the 6th of September 2024. The meeting today has requested that the Māori Committee, alongside the Regional Planning Committee, put forward a resolution to the Council for their consideration at next week's Council meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Tuarama. So as part of this, and it's something that we are all familiar with in regards to the Māori wards, and of course, as a result of the recent general elections and the current government of the day, we find ourselves posed with this question, not only as a committee, but as a country. There were also some technical changes in regards to the electoral statutory requirements, and that'll have an influence on people's ability to change roles leading up to the upcoming elections and so forth. So can I come to you, please, Leanne, to give us the technical side of what we're having to deal with?
Kia ora. So the technical change with the ability to change between the Māori role and the general role has just recently come in, and what they've done is just introduced a 3-month deadline before an election, so that I think what had happened was allowing the switch anytime came to an issue in the Hastings District Council by-elections, where people were not on the roll to be able to vote for a candidate, so they switched roles. And so they effectively put themselves in a position where they would have possibly voted for someone in the election in 2022 and then had another vote in the by-election in 24, where they wouldn't normally have been able to do that. So that, I guess their premise was that one vote per person, regardless of which role you're on.
Thank you for that.
Mr Chair, and it's a point of clarification, and it's around the voting process. I don't know if it's a right point in time to ask, but maybe you can come back. And just around the voting process, I'm just picking up what Councillor Lambert's said on our pre-meet in regards to coming to voting within the districts. If you're a Māori land trust, and obviously you pay rates in that, are you able to vote within the election process? I'm just putting it forward so you can come back to me and answer that later on, because obviously within the Hastings district, with all our Māori land blocks, we're all ratepayers paying in those districts, and I just want a point of clarification at some stages whether they're allowed to actually vote with if your land sits within the in the Ahuriri, in the Ahuriri area or in the Hiratangi area. I just picked up from this morning's kōrero from Mr Lambert.
So my understanding is that if you're paying rates to a district council or a city council for a piece of land, whether or not it's occupied or built on, you can apply to be on the ratepayer roll. What that allows you to do, though, is in the case of a trust, and it's the same with a Māori land trust or, say, a group, a family trust that owns a property, they have to nominate one person to exercise the vote for the whole trust.
Oh, so it's only one person, not the... Yeah, and I suppose the point I was going in, we've got 10,000 whānau, they're whakapapa in.
The other part of that is that the rule about one person, one vote still applies. So if you were a trust and you were also sole owner of a property, your trust would be probably wanting to appoint somebody else to exercise the vote of the trust because you couldn't have two votes anyways. And if you were a voter in Wairoa, for example, and you had a property in Hastings, you can vote for the person that's voting for the ratepayer role can vote for the district council, but they wouldn't be allowed a second vote for the regional council. So that's the...
Thank you. Yes.
Through the...
Sorry, that's your hand up over here. Mike, did you have some?
Yeah, just an interesting comment there about if you're paying rates. 2 or 3 years ago, Minister Mahuta put a bill through with a stroke of a pen that Māori Indigenous areas that are under a kawanata or a covenant do not have to pay rates. So therefore, there's that same trust, such as Te Matai, are they allowed to vote if they indeed haven't paid rates?
So the simple...
It would probably have never come up before, but I just picked it up when you said if they're paying rates.
Yeah, because you're applying to be on the roll as a ratepayer.
Might be an outstanding bill, Mike.
I'm mindful this has taken us away from the scope of why we're here, but it will come up in this discussion. Jen.
Sure. I'd just like it noted that the change of the ability to change to vote and swap roles from the Māori to the general or vice versa, it was the softest launch ever because you used to have to wait for 7 years before you could switch roles. So the confusion that came out from last year is not the making of the whānau that took that offer up. So once everyone found out, slowly, that you didn't have to wait 7 years to switch roles and that you only wait for, well, I think you're leading up to an election 3 months before you're not allowed to vote. So there's that point. But the interesting factor, because Māori are ratepayers and landowners in different legal sort of states, how would you cross-reference and check that as people vote? You know, is there a process? Because for Māori, And that's why it's important for us to be sitting at the table. There is a number of avenues, Māori trusts, homes, yeah.
So that's all run by the Electoral Commission, so each voter has a unique enrollment number, and they do all that with their computers and their, yeah.
So they qualify the
that's-
different land status that they engage
Yeah.
in. Couple of.
Can I come to you, Wai,
Kia
Chair
ora,
of the Regional
Chair.
Council?
Kia ora, Chair. Tēnā koe apai mō tō karakia, kia tuwhira pai ai tā tātou hui i te rangi nei, tēnā tātou katoa. I guess Mike's invited me to provide a perspective from the council's point of view. And obviously we have a decision, we have to make a decision on the 28th. But we value, we want to understand any further dynamics from our committees through our Māori committee and RPC, which is why we're at this hui today. And all the legislation changes, as unwelcoming as they are, particularly for this tepu, have come at a pace that often it's hard to get our people out to have their voice. But we made sure as a regional council that we submitted to this Amendment Act and we opposed what they were preparing to do. And we see it as probably unwarranted for us and unwelcome, this change. And it becomes inefficient for us in our mahi as a council, but also our relationships with you and through RPC, and obviously for our Māori chair, our Māori seats and constituency members, Charlie and Thompson. So from the council's point of view, we absolutely value these seats. We want to keep supporting these seats for as long as possible. But we are in this, I guess, insidious position where we've got an option A or an option B, disestablished now, basically, or we go to a poll. And the only real remedy for this flip-flopping through the Local Government Act or the Local Electoral Act is that we have constitutional transformation around these partnerships going forward. And that is the light. That might be a medium or long-term light that we're seeking, but we can't do that without a change of government and also for our whānau to get out and vote. That means getting out and vote for the local elections and for the national elections. So that's the position that we are in at the moment. But from the council's point of view, the reason why we oppose this amendment bill was because we would like to see and retain these Māori seats, these 2 seats, at our council table for as long as possible, while retaining our Māori committee for as long as the Māori committee want to stay in this form, that represent our tai whenua marae, as well as, of course, our RPC, which is in the Settlement Act. So until we have transformation and constitutional change, we have these mechanisms that we value and we want to see through for as long as possible. So I guess that's the position of our council. And so today we're asking for any further direction beyond that from you today and from you to resolve quite strongly that position and whatever else you want to bring through our council meeting on the 28th. Kia ora.
Kia ora, so thank you for that, Wai. So from our whiriwhiri kōrero i tēnei ata. So we agree with you in regards to, first and foremost, the coalition government and its stance it has taken in regards to wanting to making the constitutional changes that they have made. We see that as a step back and divisive, not only at this table, but for our region and for our, I think, Aotearoa, New Zealand as a whole. And we've seen this being played out and being used as a political tool by certain parties as to get themselves into Parliament in the first place. And of course, part of that is becoming part of the government of the day. So we support the council in their stance and seeking constitutional remedy to ensure that in future we as Māori are not used as political football for parties to use to leverage off to get into Parliament. To be fair, we're actually quite tired of it. We seem to take 2 steps forward and one step back and 2 to the side as this type of politics is when it makes its way to the forefront of our country's political scene. So we absolutely support the position of Regional Council. And thirdly and finally, we absolutely endorse the Regional Council in its position in seeing the continuation of the Māori wards, and we understand the implications of that in regards to the need to carry out a poll. We would prefer that that wasn't the case, but it is the current constitutional requirement of Regional Council is to continue with the establishment of Māori wards and the continuation of Māori wards. So although we certainly don't like it, we understand the situation that you find yourselves in. Despite that, we still continue to support the continuation of Māori wards. We understand this will mean work for us going forward, no doubt alongside that of Regional Council. It's not that we look forward to it, but we understand what will be required of us. And certainly we will be there to play our part in this. And although we sit here as the Māori Standing Committee and the RPC, the Regional Planning Committee, we also wear multiple hats besides these. We have marae chairs, marae committee members, various iwi entity bodies from tai whenua, post-settlement entity groups, kohanga reo, kura kaupapa Māori, te mea. So we have a wide selection of our Māori community, not just Māori Standing Committee members and RPC committee members at this table. Many of us sit on land trusts. So we feel confident and comfortable in saying to you that you are getting a fair representation of the view of Māori. That not only does this committee or these 2 committees support your stance, but iwi Māori, as iwi Māori, we support your stance. Is there anything else I have left out in regards to where we've landed in our whiri kōrero?
No, I just think, just endorsing what Mike's kōrero is, you know, and what you said anyway, we're fully supportive of Hawke's Bay Regional Council and their support for our Māori wards. So I think it's a great step that we're all collective and we've got one voice for Māori. And I won't regurgitate what Mike said, but we're fully, and we see the importance that Māori representation in the current framework, what it brings for our whānau across a wider area of the community. And hopefully that same view is shared by our community, because obviously we're working in partnership with not only Māori, but non-Māori. And so, just want to reiterate, it's very important as a country, as we build our nation, that that's recognised. So, nā mihi.
Any further?
Just, I've got no confidence in the fact that this morning there was some numbers bandied about in terms of, I would imagine, voting population, which is relevant to ratepayer base. In those scenarios, we're outnumbered. And, I don't know anyway whether or not you've kind of raked through the country and your local authorities to hear whether or not other local authorities are saying bugger these options. And take the consequence, as I was mentioning, statutory management. If there was enough authorities around the country, it's just that I'm not confident that, we've got to mobilise ourselves again to get out there, to get to that ratepayer base. And based on the numbers and, of course, the dynamics in that, we're going to be up in the air right through this whole process and just kind of grip this up by the short and curlies, bugger them.
Thank you, Māori. Any other?
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Ai, kia ora
Tanya.
tātou. Just a mihi to you, Mike, for summing that up nicely from our kōrero this morning, and mihi to you as well, Hanawai, for the words you've said around support from the Regional Council to retain Māori wards. And the work that's been done, because we know 4 years ago there was a difference of opinion from some of the regional councillors. And I just pātai tāku to you to say, are you confident that the regional councillors are going to vote in support of the words that you've said today? Because this ultimately will go to vote.
Oh, I can't presume exactly their votes, but the sentiment has been that it was unanimous to establish these seats in the first place. And then it was fully supported by the councillors to oppose the amendment bill, which is basically to say we want to keep what we've got, what we've worked hard for with our community through consultation, through the hearings. So I can't tell them how to vote. But we quite strongly think this is a distraction that we don't need, and we value what we have. We've worked hard for what we have around the table, and we want to retain that. So that's definitely the sense that that I'm getting from the councillors.
Thank you.
Ka pai.
Any other pātai? So we're prepared to go straight to recommendation, I take it? Yeah? No. So do we have a recommendation?
So, thank you, Chair. The recommendation is that the Māori Committee, 1, receives and considers the Local Electoral Amendment Act 2024 recommendation to HBRC staff report, and recommends that the Hawke's Bay Regional Council either 2.1 resolve to retain the Māui ki te raki and Māui ki te tonga Māori constituencies for the 2025 elections, or 2.2 resolves to disestablish the Māui ki te raki and Māui ki te tonga Māori constituencies.
Do you mind repeating that, please?
Right. So recommendation 1 is that this committee receives the staff report and what was outlined in the staff report around the decision you're being asked today. Do you want to separate them?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Ka pai.
So I take it if we move one, then the other one becomes redundant. Hey,
Yes, definitely. So it's our or.
yes. All right, then, so we'll go with point 1, thank you. So we all know what it is, and we all know the intention of it. I'm looking for a move and a seconder, please. Thank you, Peter. And thank you, Polder. Is there any further comment, discussion?
No, yeah, I'd just like, as a mover, just to say, obviously, we've got a big road ahead of us with all the challenges that are going to come through. So, obviously, we'll be looking forward to taking on that challenge as we move through, obviously, the process. So, no,
The first being next Wednesday.
yeah.
Polder, any comment from yourself? No?
Go for it.
Go for it. So with that, I'll put the motion to the floor. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Unanimous. So it's unanimously supported by the Māori Standing Committee with the support of our RPC members. Ka mihi kia o koutou katoa. Whakamana. Nē, he whakamana. Ka pai, thank you. So from in regards to our agenda, that brings us to the end to our agenda item A. There were 2 items of mechanics that we had to tidy up. So, apart from you fellas all being Māori, would you have any other conflicts in regards to this kaupapa?
Do you want us to go around to our portai or no?
Conflict of interest? No.
What's that item?
No conflicts of interest?
Local election ward, blah, 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 amendment bill recommendation.
Or what is the edit? That late item?
Who by themselves.
So we'll put some amendments, our own little recommendations prior to this, because we spoke about some other stuff as well. We'll add that to that one there. The other one was the alternate members, so we have one from here to Tonga. Māori, are you moving?
Yes.
Can I have a seconder, please, Roger? Sorry, Mike, I got to use the membership. All those in favour, please, of appointing of the short-term alternate member as per our schedule. All in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. Carry, that's you, Anna. So you have our motion in regards to the recommendation that you put to us, but there was also some other things that we raised up there that you also raised. So one of those was in regards to the position of the current coalition government, and it starts around the Māori wards. So quite clearly, as you have heard, we oppose the position that our coalition government has taken. And although the Act has been put through, the statute law, we appreciate that and understand that, but we wish to signal to the councillors that does not mean that we still don't oppose it. And we really would like to see Regional Council continue with its stance in pushing back with the direction that this coalition government has taken. Tika?
Second that.
Tika tonu.
So moved by the chair, seconded by Polder. Any further comments around that? Ka pai. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. The other one was in regards to, so we pushed that back. We've got our turn back there. There was one other one that was outstanding. Constitutional. So this committee also, this hui, can we change that first one to this hui? Because it has more than the Māori Standing Committee in this. This hui also supports Regional Council and starts in regards to seeking constitutional protection. It's constitutional protection in regards to the Māori wards, in regards to, what's the word I'm looking for here, is that we're not subject to the whims of incoming governments.
Continuity?
Yeah, continuity, continuity. It is about the continuity of Māori wards, because at the moment we are at the whim of incoming governments. That's not to say we don't mind if the incoming government wants to change it back. But it is the continuity. Okay. So it's the continuity of constitutional status of Māori ward seats. Is that sufficient?
That is, there's a few optioneering within that, but yes, I get the.
We were just giving you our general direction.
Yeah.
We understand that this is going to be your decision at the council table, but at least you understand our position as both our committees, and of course the various multitude of portai that sit at this table beyond those two committees. Ka pai?
Yeah, and
Just some clarity in terms of where that constitution sits. Can you just elaborate on that, in regards to, and I think it's good that we're going in that direction. But just, when it comes down to regional plans and all of that and how that fits alongside of things such as a constitution. I mean, I implore if we're going to fit in as a fallback, I guess, the retention around, and this is about our ability, resilience, sustainability, to keep that continuum going. Can you just kind of elaborate a little bit more where it sits in the Constitution?
Yeah, can I provide an example from Environment Canterbury? They partnered with Ngāi Tahu through a constitutional act to have two seats at Environment Canterbury table. Now, because they went through that process, which took a few years, they've protected their seats and aren't influenced through this amendment change. So that's our way, that's our mechanism that Ngāi Tahu and Environment Canterbury have gone through. if it was the appetite of this table in RPC to go through that type of mechanism, that is our way of protecting seats. And that's through legislative change to say you need two, we would like two Māori seats around this table through and protected by an act. Yeah.
Pātai, are those Ngāi Tahu 2 seats, are they fully functioning like councillors?
Yes,
Or they are
yes, they're fully
appointed?
voting members, and they are actually voted in through their runanga.
Okay.
So it is, say, if we were to have the same here, it would be, say, Ngāti Kahungunu as an example, voters voting in there too, not being on the Māori roll to vote in your two. So it's a totally different electoral process.
Cool.
Driven by Ngāi Tahu iwi. Yeah.
I asked the Pātai because we've just established 2 appointees on the council in Central Hawke's Bay. And they are treated and regarded in every way through the mayoral's powers to sit at that table in everything except voting.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
and that was the
That's right.
quickest way to do that.
Yes.
But I'd just like to query, the critical issue is the binding poll.
Yeah.
And even their own, the government's own advisors said that, well, this is illegal. So councils can do a referendum, but they've never been binding. That's been the choice of the council that holds a referendum on whether they do or don't do anything. So effectively, they're taking the rights, the very big brother government that they criticised previously. So it's that binding poll that makes a difference. And I read yesterday there was a group of councils that went to court and to state just that. And I don't think they were successful. So it's a bit of concern. So I always reckon if you can do a 2 for 3 for, so constitutional, the binding poll, the legitimacy of that, how it compounds inequities, and it compounds, well, it encourages division, and it incites, just like Donald Trump, it incites people. So there's about 3 or 4 ways, and I would encourage us to use every single way we can.
So we encourage regional council to look for constitutional remedies that actually enshrines our Māori and protection. That enshrines and gives consistency around our Māori ward seats.
Kapa?
So just add a comment in regards to the constitutional change in that, and I suppose there'll be a process around education as well, because obviously some people may not be aware of the benefits and what that representation brings to the whole community. So I'd see that, I think it would be really important for the whole community to just have appreciation what Māori ward seats, what it provides on a wider governance area for the community. So if that can be built in, that would be great.
Ka pai. Maybe I just ask Te Wairama to let us know what's happening across local government in terms of education and advocacy leading up to the Māori wards.
Can we move our last recommendation?
Oh, sorry.
And that'll clean that up, and I'll talk about the post that. So you've heard the thing in regards to constitutional support by this hui in regards to the regional council seeking constitutional remedy, as we said, to enshrining our Māori ward seats and given that consistency. Can I ask someone move in a seconder, please? Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Mare. Any further comments? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, wouldn't mind saying something about that. If we're looking at the same sort of model as Ngāi Tahu, it seems like we need to progress this a bit further. And I know that with Tata, we're meeting some of their leaders next month about our Wai Māori claim. So it's an opportunity to sort of talk to them about how they processed and progressed those 2 seats that they have with ECAN. I think, no, I think we need to go a bit deeper into this as RBCN, Māori Committee, but it's about getting a bit of information. And thank you, Māori, for bringing that up. It was right there, we didn't see it. So this is then we can ignore all these referendums, etc., because we get there in our own right, and we sit there, rangatira to rangatira, to having that opportunity to have a say, So kia ora for that, Māori.
Ka pai. Any other comment? So we're done with the vote.
Minister Brown and the government have advised Ngāi Tahu and ECAN are repealing the act to establish those seats. They won't exist beyond this election.
I can repeat it.
Kia ora, Ricky, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. Minister Brown has advised Ngāi Tahu they're doing away with those seats. They're going to repeal the act that established them, so that they won't continue either.
Ricky, I heard that they've been invited to, not have to. Is that?
I was with Yayan.
They have
I was with Yayan at the Tomorrow After Conference. They are repealing it.
Do you think Ngāi Tahu will fight back on that?
As much as they can, but yeah.
Yeah. So some learnings there from that.
Yeah.
As we go, yeah.
So that brings us to an end in regards to our, anything else you want to cover off?
Oh, tēnā koe, Chair. If I can just clarify the recommendation so that the hui, this hui supports Regional Council in regards to seeking constitutional protection in regards to the continuation or continuity of Māori board seats. Can I also recommend that this committee requests that the Māori Partnerships Group continue this ongoing discussion after seeking some advice in the form of a workshop as we progress on this journey, so that we come back to this Māori committee table to discuss advice.
Not just the Māori relationship, but also council itself. Yeah, council through its Māori Partnership Group. Yeah, thank you. So did you want that as a formal recommendation? Or you're just giving us that direction? I think our motion kind of covers that all. We understand you're not going to do this between now and next Wednesday? Yeah, ka pai. Does that cover us off in regards to all we were asked to do today in regards to that official level for a meeting? Because that allows us to go to our workshop. Tika? Ka pai, ka tai mai te wā te whakakapi a tātou hui, so that's the quickest hui we've ever had. Mike?
Just to fill in a bit of time before the hangi's lifted. Can we have the from anyway, the council's view as regards, I understand there's a Crown Commissioner in Wairoa, but just the councillor's, the chair's view on Te Wairoa and Porongahau.
So we can bring that up as part of our workshop. Yeah, we'll bring this hui to a close, and that'll allow us to go to our workshop.
Right.
Given we've got a bit of time here. We don't want to ambush you.
Yep. Mr. Chairman, we're going to raise that matter about.
Let's see how we go with time, mate. Let's see how we go with time. Remember, this is, our official committee meeting has finished and had one item. I understand people have other items they want to throw on the table, but we also have a workshop that's also been booked in. So as long as we can fit everything in, go to pipe. So think about what you're going to say. And of course our hangi comes up at 12 o'clock, Mike. Ka huri taraka ki a koe e api whakakapi a tātou.
Mahau e whakakapi.
Oh, no. Hei whakawhetai atu e rātu mi ngā me pai kia tutiki ai pai ki ngā whiriwhiri kōrere whakaro e pāna me ki te tino taki kei mui a tātou. He whakamoimiti ana e te kaha rawa kei a koe e pā. Kia tutiki a pai mai te timatanga tai atu ki te mutunga. E roto i te manakitanga te kaihanga, nāne ho mai te timatanga te mutunga, a nāna nei i ho mai ngā me pai, e pāna me ki, tāne nui i te rā, kei waho rā, kia whakamāhana te wairua te Māori, a kai roto tēnei ruma. E ronga tūturu a whakamaua kia tīna, haumi e hui e.
Para Māori.